Hi, I'm Elame Ortega, the General Manager for IT Services at PT&T. I started my career working for the Philippines and ASEAN division of one of the largest computer companies and systems integrator in the world. Now with 22 years of experience in the IT services industry under my belt, I'm proud to lend my expertise to PT&T and help usher in a new era for the company. The new PT&T specializes in providing services beyond connectivity. We want to see small and medium-sized enterprises harness the power of technology to achieve their business goals, whether it's to scale, ramp up security, or even cut costs. After working for 2 decades in this industry, I've come to realize that digital transformation is all about empowering business outcomes with the strongest and most powerful technology in the market. PT&T IT Services focus is around being business outcome-led, enabled by technology. Companies need to leverage technologies that support business initiatives and not the other way around. This unique approach delivers ongoing business value that impacts companies' bottom line and driving differentiated value. So at PT&T, we take the time to get to know our clients, working closely with each one so that we can come up with a solution that fits their individual needs. At PT&T IT Services, we have a 3-pronged approach: scale, secure, and specialize. To truly help our clients grow, we lay down the groundwork in terms of connectivity and IT infrastructure. A house is only as strong as its foundation after all. Then to keep your house safe, we provide an integrated approach to security with a range of services including firewall systems, DDoS protection, and endpoint security. We also provide tools to ensure business resiliency, from high availability to disaster recovery. We also provide services for anything from accounting and payroll software to custom web and mobile app development. Who wouldn't want to be a part of the new PT&T and pave the way for digital transformation in the Philippines? This company stands on a history of innovation since 1962. PT&T has built on a culture, track record, and corporate tradition of competitive independence and technological innovation. Just the mere thought of building the new IT services team to complement PT&T's connectivity business, the opportunities are endless. And so when PT&T reached out to me and offered me this job, I accepted the challenge with enthusiasm. And personally, the patriot in me wants to be a part of PT&T, a company that has been an essential part of the Philippines' national development. At PT&T, we always put our clients first. After all, they wouldn't be called solutions if they don't solve your problems. We work every day to help customers solve business problems, leveraging new technology through our unique approach, our dedicated team, and our proven techniques in service delivery. In that vein, please think of us as your personalized external IT manager. Our services are tailor-fit to help you reach your business goals, no matter the size of your budget. Whether you are a large enterprise or a smaller business, there are solutions out there for you. Our solution specialists are experienced and certified in many things IT. Talk to us and book a free e-consultation now. Let's see how we can go beyond connectivity together.
Hi, I'm James Velasquez, President and CEO of PT&T. I have been in the IT services business for over 3 decades, helping companies navigate their digital transformation journeys both in the Philippines and in Asia. Essentially, IT services has been central to what I do for the past 30 years, and I'm thrilled to bring my passion and expertise to PT&T. Now, if you're from my generation, you may be wondering what the telegram and pager company is doing in 2021. And if you're from the younger generation, you may not have even heard of PT&T. The truth is, PT&T has experienced a lot of ups and downs in the 59 years of existence. As I joined the new management in 2018, PT&T decided to reinvent itself, and we're excited to share this latest transformation with you. We're here to connect everyone through high-speed broadband and fiber internet. Today, across the Philippines, we have over 18,000 kilometers and still counting. Fiber optic cables reaching speeds of up to 1 gigabits per second. But we know that high-speed connectivity is just one piece of the puzzle. For businesses to succeed in today's world, they must transform digitally. When things can be done quicker, better, and more securely, it is difficult to ignore such options in the workplace. This is especially true when they also happen to be cheaper as well. In my previous work at IBM, we helped a lot of large enterprises harden their IT infrastructure and optimize and scale their businesses. Here at PT&T, we want small and medium-sized enterprises to know that there are attainable and affordable IT options for them as well. Our services encompasses the full scope of IT solutions, from large enterprises to SME clients, connectivity and infrastructure, to system security, and software of all kinds, whatever your business objective. We know the pace of change will only become quicker, and we also know the transformative power of IT and innovation by heart. Let our experience and expertise help guide your business growth, no matter how big or small the requirement. Together, let's go beyond connectivity. Let's work together to find a solution for you. Sign up now for a free consultation with our ITS experts to help you with the right IT solution for your business goals.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PT&T webinar series where we discuss anything and everything IT. I'm your host, Mickey, and I'm super excited to have you here. I'm so excited that we'll have a lot of amazing and insightful conversations that we're going to have this Friday afternoon. So, for today's webinar, it's all about uncovering the power of software defined wide area network, or more commonly known as SD-WAN. As many of you know, SD-WAN has been the talk of the networking community since it was introduced less than a decade ago. Some even say it is the network of the future. But what can this innovative technology really bring to the table, particularly when it comes to reducing a business network complexity? That's what we're going to find out with the help of our esteemed speakers for today. But before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping reminders so you know how to participate for today's event. So, first and foremost, kindly rename your Zoom names into your real name because right now it is set on a default name by that we have set up. So, if you could kindly rename it to your real name, that will be fantastic. And secondly, make sure to turn off your microphone so not to, we're not going to be disrupting the speakers that we're going to have later on. And third, if you have any questions during the presentation, simply type them into the question box in your Zoom control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the discussion, and we will collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end. Also, we are inviting everyone to answer the survey that will be flashed on your screens to get a chance to win exciting prizes. We have a raffle for our webinar this afternoon. So if you can take a screenshot of that, or you can type it in manually on your browser, that's being flashed on your screen right now. All right. So now we begin. So joining us today are three esteemed speakers from telecommunications services provider PT&T and California-based cloud computing and virtualization technology company called VMware. Let me start by introducing Miss Ella May Ortega, PT&T's General Manager for IT Services. Ms. Ortega is a senior executive with over 22 years of leadership experience in multinational businesses in information technology and services industry. She started her career in IBM Philippines as a sales professional and eventually a sales manager. After her 14-year stint in IBM handling the large enterprise sector, she served as the vice president of the sales and marketing for Fritz and Maxiol Asia Incorporated, an IT systems integrator based in Germany. While there, she led a team of client executives, solution architects, sales operations, and marketing associates. Prior to joining PT&T, she was the country manager of Tera Data Philippines for 5 years, where she gained experience in data and analytics. Please welcome Miss Ella.
Hi and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We hope that we will be able to bring you more details about SD1. Thank you, and looking forward to talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Ella. All right. Next, another valuable member of the PT&T family, Mr. Philip Alvic Kagonot. Mr. Kagonot is a certified internet work expert serving as PT&T solution consultant for IT services for almost 2 years. He ventured into the network industry in 2008 as a Tier 2 network specialist at Verizon, an American wireless network operator. Afterward, he became an instructor for Phoenix One Knowledge Solutions Incorporated, a training institute based in Makati, Meralco Foundation Institute, Fastlane, Philippines, and Red Education Singapore, where he developed and delivered instructor-led training courses specializing in routing, switching, and data center. Before joining PT&T, he was a senior network specialist at Fritz and Maxiol for almost 8 years. Hello there, Mr. Philip.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this event, Valo Cloud SD1. Looking forward to talk to you uh, on this day thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Philip. And of course, we also have with us here from VMware Anthony Prasad. His career spans over 20 years in IT, and he has worked with some of the largest and innovative companies in the industry. Currently, Anthony works as a senior telco sales executive for VMware, where he is responsible for driving the success of the telco SD-WAN business across the region. Before joining VMware, Anthony has held senior positions with Cisco Systems, Riverbed Technology, Verizon Business, BT, and Ekahau in technology, sales, and partner management role across APJ. Anthony has specialized in bringing new technology to market and growing the business through customer and partner innovation across key regions in APJ. He has obtained multiple industry leading certifications in security and networking. And one of his proudest achievements was completing his CCIE in 2003 and becoming a 10-year CCIE in 2013. Outside of work, Anthony enjoys spending time with his wife and two daughters along Singapore's west coast. Let's give him a warm welcome, Anthony.
Hi, Mickey and team. Thanks for having me here today. Although I'm joining here from sunny Singapore and attending this virtually, I'm very excited to be here with you today.
Awesome. Happy Friday. All right, so thank you so much to the speakers who are joining us today. Your insights will surely be useful for our discussion this afternoon. All right, so as we all know, enterprise traffic or network design is shifting. Application workloads are no longer confined in the data center. In fact, 61% of enterprise workloads are now in the cloud. And 15% of all IT budgets are allocated to IS and PaaS. Locations and devices are also becoming increasingly diverse, especially now that the pandemic has pushed us to work remotely. And by the end of 2021, 20 to 30% of the workforce will be working from anywhere. And each enterprise user will have approximately 1.8 connected devices. So, with such drastic changes in the network design, what do you think are the accompanying challenges that multi branch businesses face now more than ever? Maybe Anthony can share about that. Anthony?
Hi, Mickey. Yeah, this is interesting times we're going through, right? So, 3 to 5 years ago, we were seeing a lot of innovation in the cloud space and mobility space, mobile devices, and IoT driving things. But now, with the pandemic over the last couple of years and the impact that that has brought to businesses, not just doing business as usual today, but looking at innovating and reaching out to their customers, reaching out to their employees, keeping businesses running, and what else can we be doing for our customers in these times? So it's really interesting environment that we're seeing here today, and they're even more driven by things around cloud, software as a service. We've got things like 5G that is driving innovation in the networking space. Wi-Fi 6 is coming out, and all putting all these technologies together during this pandemic, helping customers innovate, helping customers drive better business solutions. It's real interesting times that we're seeing, and being able to support businesses overcome these challenges and then looking to innovate during this space is something that we're really looking at driving and joining in partnership together with PT&T. And how can we bring these solutions together into the Philippines is something that I'm really excited about today, and looking at tomorrow what we can be doing together.
That sounds really exciting indeed. Anything to add on that, Ella?
Yeah, I think to Anthony's point, right? A lot of things have changed in the way that people work nowadays. And like myself, I'm at home. Most of the time I stay at home and work from home. So the most important aspect of making sure that your employees and even your customers have the best experience in terms of accessing the right information for your company. So productivity while working from home is an important aspect of making this whole thing work, right? We're in this together, right? We're all in this together. And being able to make sure that the right productivity is in place by providing the right tools to the people and to your employees nowadays is very important.
Yes, and I'm just wondering because now that you both, I think we're all on the same page about how a lot of companies are now embracing remote work, and obviously a lot of them are really trying to find ways to get ahead because everyone's trying to adapt with how fast the technology is leveling up. Anything to say about the visibility, the network visibility, and because obviously as you scale there might be some times wherein it's a challenge to have those network become visible to you. What are your thoughts about that network visibility? Anyone wanted to take on that?
Yeah, I'll go first, Mickey, on that one. So it's legacy. If we think about legacy networks, right, and it was really easy for companies to see what's going on within their network when traffic was coming in from all remote offices into a single headquartered data center, and traffic was all flowing through a central point. In a typical legacy hub and spoke network design, getting visibility into the traffic, controlling security, controlling access. All of that was pretty easy, a lot easier than what we're seeing today. So today, that's a big challenge, network visibility, because if we look at the change in scope, when companies have had to move applications out of their data center onto the cloud, whether that be software as a service or infrastructure as a service, or even more of a problem if they're using multi-cloud, right? Or even more of a problem if it's a hybrid network where they've got legacy applications, they've got SaaS, they've got infrastructure as a service. So these are massive challenges that we're seeing for companies today, and it's if we're able to solve these problems for companies and say, look, what if we can give you visibility from the edge devices, from the user perspective, from your data center to your SaaS to your cloud? That is making their lives a lot easier. That's giving them information that they today is finding more and more difficult. So I think that's one of the problems we were looking at solving for them.
Mhm. I love that you also highlighted a bit about hybrid there, because obviously there are some enterprises who have the legacy, but at the same time they have other type of infrastructure, and it's kind of hard to have that full network visibility. And just a heads up to our viewers, this is going to be an exciting topic that we'll have in a bit. But I just wanted to ask help from Ella about what her thoughts are in terms of segmenting network traffic.
Yeah, I think to Anthony's point, no, if you imagine it before, the design of your network is to optimize your local area network because everyone's in the office, everyone's accessing your data center. Now, imagine all of those people working in the office are working remotely, which adds complexity in terms of ease of connectivity, performance, etc. So you really have to look at how you will be able to address all of these concerns. Plus, of course, before when you were in the office, right, you are able to secure. It's like your house, no? You can build a fence around it. But now that everyone's working remotely, that's the other major concern that you need to address. How will you be able to protect data that is being accessed by people from everywhere, right? I mean, everywhere in the comfort of their home, right? So that's another area that is something that needs to be addressed and needs to be looked at by the companies today.
I'm glad that you brought up that challenge there, and I think we can all agree as well that the since we're still in the middle of pandemic and a lot of companies are trying to go lean, they're kind of hesitant because they're thinking, okay, private networks might be expensive. So, what are your thoughts about expensive private networks in the new normal? Anyone wanted to take on that?
This it's always top of mind challenge that we hear from our customers is, there's always the option of spending more money, getting dedicated circuits, going everywhere, but as Ella mentioned, as companies are seeing this disbursement of work from anywhere, is what we're calling it in VMware, where the employees are working from home, working from coffee shops, they're logging in while on the train and accessing their emails and their applications. So, how are we going to build a private network for everybody? And it just becomes an even more of a challenge, and cost really gets out of control. So, being able to solve that problem by giving customers options, looking at what their requirements are, learning about what their needs are, where their employees are working, how are they handling the pandemic, where are their employees working from, and how do we solve this problem about connectivity? Give them options around that, right? There's much better technology out there. LTE, 3G, 4G, 5G are options now for connectivity. Wi-Fi is getting faster and better, and if we're able to build better broadband services, that automatically reduces cost from the private dedicated internet MPLS connections that companies traditionally rely on for security and connectivity. So that greatly reduces cost, and being able to give these options, I think, is really important for the customers out there.
I agree, and it's great that right now on the get go we're actually establishing what are the common challenges that these enterprises are facing, and obviously we've talked about segmentation and the cost, and right now I think before we wrap up this segment, I think one of the pain points that a lot of companies are trying to overcome too is the poor quality of service and quality of experience. Anything that you wanted to say about that, Ella?
Yeah, actually, to Anthony's point, nowadays you can already use LTE, for example, or in areas where there's 5G, you can also use that. And there are a lot of improvements in terms of making sure that connectivity is available to everybody, right? But before, right, if you look at the stores, for example, of the retailers, I see them using like, pocket Wi-Fi's or even mobile phones as just to connect to a line, right, and to be able to send the reports. At the end of the day, every store needs to do that. Now, is that secure? That's the question that you need to ask. And is that something that is really going to be reliable as far as transmitting their data is concerned? So here we have this technology. So with or without pandemic, this implementing SD1 is something that is important, right? And if you look at several industries like retail, hospitality, healthcare, finance, etc., these are the multi-site. These have multi-site requirements, and at the end of the day, having that technology in place not just gives you high availability in terms of your network, because you can actually switch from LTE to broadband to wireless connectivity, whether VSAT, etc. It also gives you security, right? That you are actually using a secure line, a secure network from your branches to your data center. So I think that's one important thing that I also wanted to highlight.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Anthony and Ella. Now, before we have a very quick poll, just a little favor to our viewers who are yet to rename their Zoom names, if you can kindly do that, because as I mentioned earlier, later on, we are going to have a raffle. So we're going to look for a winner, and obviously, we need to know the real name of the winner. So if you could kindly rename your Zoom names, and let's kick off our first poll for today. Please let us know which of these challenges affect you the most. So it's flashed on your screen right now. Let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What is, the number one pain point or challenge that you guys are struggling with? So we have here lack and sub-optimized bandwidth, slow data file transport. So keep just give us a vote. It will be amazing to hear, what are the major problem that you guys are trying to overcome right now. So we'll have 10 seconds for that. Alrighty, thank you so much. So okay, now, right now, before we move on to another segment, just a little reminder to our viewers, if you have any questions about our topic for our webinar this afternoon, feel free to type it in on your chat box. And later on, we'll definitely have Q&A so that we can do a deep dive about that. But, so far we've covered about the common challenges, right? That I think a lot of enterprises, regardless of the size, can relate to. So we're going to have more of a discussion about how we can actually all translate these challenges into opportunities for us to really thrive. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are joining us because you're trying to, win not just 2021 but win 2022, right? So as you know, PT&T have been around for many years, and right now, that as you can see on this event, on this webinar, that we have partnered with VMware to really help out a lot of enterprises in the Philippines overcome the challenges that most of them either have been dealing for many years or have suddenly have been swamped because of the pandemic. So we'll get right to that. Alrighty, it will be awesome to see what are your questions or any comments about this. So feel free to put it on in the chat box. Okay, so moving on. So let's go over some business that that how they can overcome the challenges that we've been talking a lot. So since the network system is the heart of any multi-branch business, it is but necessary for these challenges to be addressed. And after all, multi-branch businesses like retail, finance, healthcare will not reach their optimum efficiency with such bottlenecks in their network. But how can they deal with such network issues? Can you please enlighten us on this one, Anthony and Philip?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Mickey, it's really exciting times. So, SD-WAN is a technology that's been around for a few years already, right? And it's interesting to see the way that the companies have embraced SD-WAN, and challenges have grown over the years through legacy networking and innovation driven by cloud, like we mentioned, the challenges that have crept up over the years, and how SD-WAN has been able to solve these problems. So VeloCloud, which VMware acquired, was a pure SD-WAN, built for SD-WAN technology that we brought to the market. And it was exciting, the technology, innovative technologies that VeloCloud brought. And now with the acquisition through VMware, the way that it's innovated and it's helped solve more and more problems throughout the years. So when we talk about the challenges that we're seeing, what if we told you that we could solve all those problems today using SD-WAN, right? When it comes to better security in your network, when it comes to allowing customers to use multiple links at their remote offices. So, for example, what if we went to a retail and said, "Hey, you know what? We could turn on a 5G link, we could turn on a broadband link, and we could turn on a lower cost, smaller pipe MPLS link, and we'll turn them all on at the same time, and we'll see which is the best performing link at any time of day. And if we detect any issues, we'll automatically be able to switch between the links, your most prioritized traffic, so that we don't see any impact." And all of this is done automatically. You don't have to worry about configuration. You don't have to worry about going in and changing things when you experience problems. It's all monitored, managed, and done automatically on your network. So that's some of the exciting things that we can bring with this technology today with SD-WAN. Terminology like SASE is something that as well is driving a lot of discussion today. So Gartner coined the term of SASE, secure access service edge devices, because we're putting SD-WAN devices at the edge of your network, at remote offices, branch offices, just about everywhere that companies need connectivity. If we look at manufacturing or financial services that want to utilize this box, not just to do networking, but what if we wanted to do security as well? What if we wanted to manage and get visibility into the network? So being able to solve all these problems with a single device is the kind of exciting things that we can bring with SD-WAN today. I'll let Philip talk more about the technology and dive a little bit further into how we do that.
All right.
Yes, that
Thank
will be
you,
great.
Anthony.
Thank you for that. Yeah, go ahead. Anything to add on that, Philip?
Yeah, thank you very much, Anthony and Kimi. When regards to complexity, that's the number one pain points of a certain company or specific company, right? Complexity gives a lot of headaches for network engineers like me and other technical people. So basically, SD-WAN through Value Cloud, this technology normally simplify things, right? So how do we simplify things with SD1? Basically, we have this what we call ZTP or zero touch provisioning, so that you can leverage configuration and deployment of branches, especially when you have multiple branch nationwide, especially here in the Philippines where we have like islands of places, so it's not easy to deploy and then configure those branches to be connected to our data centers, right? So with this ATP, it's just in a matter of minutes we can simply send the device to the remote location, and then a certain people which is non-IT can activate that by simply connecting it to the network, and the network will just simply connect the branch to this orchestrator, what we have or what we call Velo Cloud orchestrator, the one that we use to manage and simplify things in doing configuration, troubleshooting, and then monitoring. And one thing more to simplify things, aside from simplifying things, we also have ease of cloud adoption, wherein we can now directly connect to our cloud applications. So no need for us to pass traffic to our data center and then data center connected to the cloud. So that one can also be lessening or removing complexities of network traffic, and then we are simply managing um, network direct to the cloud. So we are removing those backhaul problems going to the data center and then up to the cloud. Then another one is assure application performance, wherein we can optimize application performance over any one link, meaning it's not just MPLS, but also we can leverage other uplinks like fiber broadband. We have wireless, we have cellular using LTE, 5G, and so on. And then we can also even use um, satellite if we are located somewhere very remote areas here in the Philippines. For example, you are located in Palawan or some other locations like in an island wherein there's no connectivity for wired options. Okay, so I think the best way to solve this complexity is to simplify things by having just one pane of glass network management tool, and then everything will be there. So I think that will remove some complexities for network engineers managing and supporting their network infrastructure. So I hope VeloCloud can solve those problems easily, right?
It's so fascinating that you mentioned a lot of advantages there, and I wanted to just point out that I think that's going to be my personal favorite, the zero touch thing that you mentioned there, because obviously some companies doesn't have the luxury of having a lot of technical geniuses or IT geniuses that can reconfigure things manually or physically have to travel, right? Let's say they have multi branches in different locations all over the country. With that benefit, zero touch, they can just configure it like automatically, instantly change things. So that's pretty amazing. Saves them a lot of time instead of having to deal with a lot of headaches of all the travels and back and forth trips, right? I just wanted to ask you guys, because I'm sure you guys are expert on this. How would you say about the beauty of, because there's definitely different ways to deploy models. So what is the beauty of SD1 in terms of deployment, and any advantages that you wanted to highlight on that?
All right, can I take
Yeah,
that?
yeah, you can go ahead, Phil.
All right, okay. With SD1, there are two types of deployment scenario. Okay, one is cloud. Using cloud, you can leverage the cloud, and then the other one is on-prem. So if you wanted to have a full visibility and full control of your network using SD1, you can have it on-prem. And then eventually, if you wanted to um, everything would be cloud, and then you can use cloud like with VMware, and then we also have in AWS and Azure. I think Anthony have additional info about the deployment types and scenarios.
Yeah, and it's really interesting when we get customers coming to us and asking us that same question, right, Mickey? I'm opening up, 10 to 100 sites in the next few months. I don't want to wait to order a box and then wait months for it to arrive and then wait weeks for somebody to come on site and configure an IP address and a gateway, and then I have to troubleshoot it, and it's so many problems and so much pressure that IT folks are under these days, especially with things opening up and closing and shutdowns and opening up, and it's really interesting if we can solve those problems. So as Philip mentioned, right, if we can control that through the orchestrator, being able to pre-configure the VeloCloud edge devices even before they arrive on site, so that anybody on site, a retail shop or a small office, anybody can go in, plug it into the plug in the power, plug in the Ethernet cable, and it can come online really quickly. In a cloud environment, as Philip mentioned, we virtualized the edge as well. So being able to install that in an AWS and in an Ali cloud environment, bring it up really quickly and manage that all seamlessly, right? And being able to do this really quickly as the customer grows or shrinks, or what the requirements are. So I think ease of deployment is a real critical thing, as Philip was rightly mentioning.
That sounds fantastic, because now with the current landscape in different workplace, right? Things are constantly changing minute to minute. There's something that they probably need to upgrade. So it's great to know that it's easy to just deploy things. It's flexible and simple and secure. All right, so that's a wrap for that part. I just obviously, I think it's safe to say that SD1 is really proving to be a convenient technology compared to other technologies today. And that's why I think it's not a surprise as well that a lot of experts are predicting that the global SD1 market size would hit a whopping $43 billion by 2030. Now, before we proceed to our next segment, let's just have a quick breather for right now. We'll have a quick few-minute break, and we should be right back in a few.
Our solution is easy to integrate into your network with no need to rip and replace your existing solutions and no vendor lock-in. Only VMware SASE brings together a rich user experience, an extensible service edge platform, and pervasive security for your distributed workforce. The future of work is now. To learn more, visit sase.vmware.com today.
Our world and the way we work has changed dramatically and quickly. From essential healthcare to education and even guitar classes. Businesses now need to enable a remote workforce. But few organizations are prepared to support flexible work locations. Slow home office rollouts, security challenges, regulatory issues, and expensive infrastructure are only some of the obstacles companies face. VMware SD-WAN is here to help. From delivering a robust network so that medical providers can support critical patients via telemedicine, to rapidly securing vital network functions, VMware SD-WAN is a tech for good that provides consumer simplicity, business quality, and cloud scale. VMware SD-WAN reduces the time of deployment from days to hours or even minutes. Simplify configuration through zero-touch provisioning. Automation and policy-based management make day 2 operations seamless. No matter if your applications live on-premise or in the cloud, you can deliver enterprise-quality access to work-at-home users. Assure optimal performance with innovative dynamic multipath optimization. Provide secure, reliable access to traditional on-premise applications. Effectively manage a failover process with the solution's built-in intelligence. Support secure, reliable access for traditional and SaaS services, including critical real-time collaboration applications. Protect users and data through encryption, secure network isolation, and advanced segmentation. VMware SD-WAN allows for dynamic scale and security options that fit the needs of any organization. Start small and grow your remote workforce dynamically through the Cloud Gateway Architecture and cloud-based multi-tenant VMware SD-WAN Orchestrator. The way we work has changed, but the way VMware supports business transformation has not. VMware SD-WAN can help empower your remote workforce, reduce disruption, and ensure business continuity. All while proactively preparing you for an ever-changing future. To learn more, please visit sdwan.vmware.com/business-continuity.
Remote work is here to stay, and distributed organizations must learn to adapt as the nature of work changes. A Gallup poll has shown recently that more than 50% of workers want to continue to work from outside of the office. The early success that we had in the spring and summer of last year has given way to concerns. And the concerns are about network resiliency, about security at the home and in the coffee shop, and also about performance. Now, the way to get around this is to think of the home office or the coffee shop office as being the branch office of an enterprise. As essential services, including telemedicine as well as government services, move to the home office, VMware has worked with MD Anderson and the city of Columbus to enact our technologies to solve their problem.
Before MD Anderson implemented VMware SD-WAN, radiologists read films over VPN. Large radiology files require secure, accurate transmission. MD Anderson needed rapid, always-on, anywhere access to campus and confidential patient data. The city of Columbus, however, had a different need. Before they used NSX Advanced Load Balancer, they struggled with inefficient hardware and inflexible application delivery. During COVID, the city of Columbus grew from 150 to 3,000 plus remote workers in just days. Hardware load balancers couldn't hack it. VMware provided network and security in the cloud with a single pass architecture for agile deployment and management. Software load balancing enabled rapidly provisioned high-performance virtual desktops and apps. Now, all employees have secure anywhere access. Today, MD Anderson radiologists freely collaborate nationwide thanks to a resilient, secure, flexible, and robust network. And the City of Columbus employees offer mission-critical health and public safety services from their homes. VMware's network agility helps frontline employees and physicians deliver quality services and care.
VMware SD-WAN, NSX ALB, as well as our SASE and work-from-home solutions provide the scaled-out, cloud-first architecture that solves the problems of a distributed enterprise, regardless of whether you need networking, you need security, you need performance, as and when you grow your enterprise away from just the branch offices to accommodating all the points of entry, including the home and the ephemeral office like a coffee shop.
With more applications moving to the cloud and edge and an increasingly distributed workforce, the future of work demands secure, anywhere access to applications. Secure Access Service Edge, or SASE, helps you realize that future. VMware SASE prepares you for what's next while meeting your complex challenges today. VMware SASE is the convergence of our industry-leading wide area networking solution with security and emerging edge services, all delivered and managed in the cloud, so you can reliably, seamlessly, and more securely connect users, applications, and resources at any time from anywhere. With over 150 points of presence located around the world, VMware and its partners provide an extensive global network with local service delivery. Data is efficiently routed to the closest cloud or data center, so employees experience fast, reliable access to all their apps. VMware SASE delivers SD-WAN, secure access, and cloud web security for advanced threat protection everywhere. And our single pane of glass management simplifies operations by integrating networking, security, and endpoints with AIOps, so your team has visibility and control over your entire network. Our solution is easy to integrate into your network with no need to rip and replace your existing solutions and no vendor lock-in. Only VMware SASE brings together a rich user experience, an extensible service edge platform, and pervasive security for your distributed workforce. The future of work is now. To learn more, visit sase.vmware.com today.
Our world and the way we work has changed dramatically and quickly. From essential healthcare to education and even guitar classes. Businesses now need to enable a remote workforce. But few organizations are prepared to support flexible work locations, slow home office rollouts, security challenges, regulatory issues, and expensive infrastructure are only some of the obstacles companies face. VMware SD-WAN is here to help. From delivering a robust network so that medical providers can support critical patients via telemedicine, to rapidly securing vital network functions, VMware SD-WAN is a tech for good that provides consumer simplicity, business quality, and cloud scale. VMware SD-WAN reduces the time of deployment from days to hours or even minutes. Simplify configuration through zero-touch provisioning. Automation and policy-based management make day 2 operations seamless. No matter if your applications live on-premise or in the cloud, you can deliver enterprise-quality access to work-at-home users. Assure optimal performance with innovative dynamic multipath optimization. Provide secure, reliable access to traditional on-premise applications. Effectively manage a failover process with the solution's built-in intelligence. Support secure, reliable access for traditional and SaaS services, including critical real-time collaboration applications. Protect users and data through encryption, secure network isolation, and advanced segmentation. VMware SD-WAN allows for dynamic scale and security options that fit the needs of any organization. Start small and grow your remote workforce dynamically through the Cloud Gateway Architecture and cloud-based multi-tenant VMware SD-WAN Orchestrator. The way we work has changed, but the way VMware supports business transformation has not. VMware SD-WAN can help empower your remote workforce, reduce disruption, and ensure business continuity. All while proactively preparing you for an ever-changing future. To learn more, please visit sdwan.vmware.com/business-continuity.
Remote work is here to stay, and distributed organizations must learn to adapt as the nature of work changes. A Gallup poll has shown recently that more than 50% of workers want to continue to work from outside of the office. The early success that we had in the spring and summer of last year has given way to concerns. And the concerns are about network resiliency, about security at the home and in the coffee shop, and also about performance. Now, the way to get around this is to think of the home office or the coffee shop office as being the branch office of an enterprise. As essential services, including telemedicine as well as government services, move to the home office, VMware has worked with MD Anderson and the city of Columbus to enact our technologies to solve their problem.
Before MD Anderson implemented VMware SD-WAN, radiologists read films over VPN. Large radiology files require secure, accurate transmission. MD Anderson needed rapid, always-on, anywhere access to campus and confidential patient data. The city of Columbus, however, had a different need. Before they used NSX Advanced Load Balancer, they struggled with inefficient hardware and inflexible application delivery. During COVID, the city of Columbus grew from 150 to 3,000 plus remote workers in just days. Hardware load balancers couldn't hack it. VMware provided network and security in the cloud with a single pass architecture for agile deployment and management. Software load balancing enabled rapidly provisioned high-performance virtual desktops and apps. Now, all employees have secure anywhere access. Today, MD Anderson radiologists freely collaborate nationwide thanks to a resilient, secure, flexible, and robust network. And the City of Columbus employees offer mission-critical health and public safety services from their homes. VMware's network agility helps frontline employees and physicians deliver quality services and care.
VMware SD-WAN, NSX ALB, as well as our SASE and work-from-home solutions provide this scaled-out, cloud-first architecture that solves the problems of a distributed enterprise, regardless of whether you need networking, you need security, you need performance, as and when you grow your enterprise away from just the branch offices to accommodating all the points of entry, including the home and the ephemeral office like a coffee shop.
with more applications.
For the second part of this webinar, we'd like to thank Nikki for Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raya Santos, and I'll be your host for the second part of this webinar. Thank you to Mickey for joining us in the first part. Now, let's go to a poll. This time, we want to know which of the advantages our speakers just mentioned is most appealing to you. Just like before, kindly tap on the answer in the dialog box flashed in your screens. While we're waiting for our viewers to answer, I'd like to invite everyone to answer our survey again for a chance to win exciting prizes in our raffle draw later. You can find the survey link and QR code flashed on the bottom portion of your screen. All right, the results are zero-touch operations for automatic authentication, completely cloud-delivered and cloud-based. Okay, it looks like the zero-touch is really leading now. All right, we'd like to close off the poll now. Now let's move on again to discuss with our speakers about the benefits of SD-WAN. Hello, Ella. Hello, Philip. And hello, Anthony. Hi. Okay, to start off, my first question. What can this technology really offer enterprises, especially those with multiple branches? Can you share with us the benefits businesses can get from SD-WAN?
Yeah, Raya, thank you for that question. So to start off, I think we've actually mentioned several benefits of the different businesses nowadays. No? And number one is really making sure that there's optimized bandwidth that can be used across the organization. And simply, it's making sure that there is network visibility, that the companies can be able to manage their network efficiently so that problem identification, management of the network will be as easy as possible. So there will be a lot of efficiencies, and future proofing their network would be as easy as possible. And to note, SD-WAN, the technology today is very flexible in terms of accommodating the different types of connectivity that's available in the market. So as a business, especially if you're managing 50 sites, 100 sites, 1,000 sites, that gives us a better perspective in terms of managing a complex environment from a single version or a single pane of glass, as Philip mentioned earlier.
Yeah, let me add on to that. So Ella's made some great points. I think other benefits that companies can see is we're able to give options to them now, right? We're not just saying, look, how much bandwidth do you need at the remote site, and then give them one link, and then that's going to be their link for the next 5 and 10 years, right? I think going to customers and saying, "Hey, where are your applications being run? How many employees are in that office? What if we could give you, instead of a dedicated, 100 meg link, what if we could give you an LTE link? We could give you a 50 meg a broadband link, and we could give you a 10 meg dedicated MPLS link. All of those could be running simultaneously. We'll roll it out really quickly. SD-WAN will sit on top. We'll secure the link. We'll optimize the link. We'll give you visibility to the link, and not just on that one site, but all across the board. Across your thousands of sites, we'll be able to give them all the options. We'll be able to monitor all of them at the same time. We'll be able to show them exactly what's going on. So it's a lot of options that we're able to provide to customers. I think it's really really important that we communicate with them. We understand what their business is. We understand what their application profile is, what their cloud strategy is. Really important thing is PT&T through an SD-WAN service can provide managed services around all these things as well, right? PT&T can help deploy it. PT&T can help manage it and monitor it, and give them monthly reports to show them exactly what's going on. So it's really exciting what SD-WAN can do, being an overlay technology that sits on top of any kind of transport, and providing all these real benefits through very innovative technology that we're running, as Philip mentioned earlier, either in the cloud, on-prem, as a managed service in PT&T's network, or dedicated to the customer as well. So I think those are really important solutions that we can provide today.
Yes. And Philip, do you want to add anything to that as well?
Yeah, thank you very much for giving those benefits. Aside from what they have mentioned, um, business agility is the number one benefits for SD-WAN. So because of the easy deployment or rapid deployment of one services. For example, before when we order a circuit, for example, is an NPLS. NPLS will take around or took you sometimes like 45 to 60 days before it can be terminated or it can be provisioned. Right now, you
Mm.
have a choice of multiple internet connectivity like broadband, cable, LTE, 5G, or wireless, so that you can quickly deploy your one services to your remote branches, right? And then, of course, another benefits would be an optimized cloud architecture wherein you can simply connect to your applications to your chosen cloud provider. Like, for example, you have AWS or Azure, or even right now, I think Velo is having a connectivity with Alibaba and other clouds to be partner with in the future. And of course, we have a simple network operations wherein we're just now using GUI. Unlike before, we used to have a CLI or a thousands of CLI commands that needs to be configured per device. Right now, it's no longer be the case. We just need to have the hardware, and then the orchestrator will be doing its job to configure all of the hardware that will be deployed to the branches. Unlike before, each of every hardware will be configured by a network engineer before it can be activated and connected to the whole network. So I think it simplifies things. So that's the number one benefits that we can have from SD-WAN Fellow Cloud.
Yeah, good point there, Philip, especially on the GUI also. So, Miss May, I'd also like to ask if you want to add. So, this is something, business unit leaders would also want to focus on increased sales and productivity with continuous network uptime. So, if you would want to share your thoughts on that for SD-WAN.
Yeah, sure. Right. Thank you for that. I think to my example earlier, right, for every retailer or people who are in the healthcare business, finance, gone are the days when you have to worry about, what if my main line is down from the branch and my branch cannot send data. At the end of the day, all of these branches would have to send data to the head office. even at the start of the day, the head office would send data to the branches and vice versa. There's so many data replication that happens during the day, at the end of the day, at the start of the day. So with this technology, as Philip mentioned, apart from making the deployment very easy and fast, right? You don't have to worry about number one, having a network engineer in every branch. You know, you can remotely manage, maintain, and support all of your branches from the head office. Number two, it's the speed in terms of being able to open a branch, you know, because branches cannot open without connectivity. That's a very true scenario right nowadays. And that's actually one of the problems of most of the retailers now, that, you know, they want to open a branch in one area, but there is no available wired connectivity, for example. So all of these things add up, no? Apart from, of course, high availability. High availability is very important because if the branches cannot connect to the data centers or to the main head office, then that's like losing a day's worth of data, right? And that would also
Yeah.
impact a lot of the operations.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for that, Miss May, and especially for large enterprises, that every minute counts for them. I'd like to go to another point, which is on cost savings as well. When we have discussions with Anthony, this is one of the questions, especially from our clients also here. So, if you want to discuss something on cost savings, Anthony, and then later, Philip, I'd also like to ask you about simplifying the processes. You've said it earlier, but maybe you want to add something to that too. Thanks, me.
Yeah, no, so very important topic is cost savings, right? On top of every customer's mind is, how can I innovate, but how can I keep my budget the same, or even better, if I reduce the cost of, my network today. And we've got customers coming to us all the time with this problem, saying, I need to save money, but I need connectivity. I need to access my applications. My people need to do their job, and I'm just, it's costing me a bomb, right? So um, it's really important that we look at, I mentioned earlier that we need to understand the customer's business. We need to look at what their requirements are and how they're being impacted, and then give them the right solutions around what their requirements are. So the way that we drive cost savings around SD-WAN is, there's a couple of ways, right? So I'll talk to you about a couple of ways that we help customers save money. Customers come to us and they say, "Can I remove devices from the remote office?" And yes, of course, if we've got an SD-WAN device that sits at the edge of a small remote office, do I need to put in a firewall? Do I need to put in a load balancer? Do I need to put in, a CPE? We worked with, I'll give you some great case studies later, but what if we went to them and say, just put one VeloCloud Edge device. It'll do your security, it'll do your networking, it'll do your visibility, it'll do all the things that you need, and you don't need to spend money on all these other, multi services and multi technologies. And yeah, so it's a one box replace all type of thing, and we really do work with customers to do that. I'll give you some examples later on how we help customers achieve that. The other way we help you save money, of course, is, as I mentioned earlier, is on the bandwidth piece of this. So if we're able to, single bandwidth, yes, we'll optimize it, we'll monitor the traffic, and we'll prioritize automatically out of the box, as Philip mentioned. It's a plug and play zero touch device, right? So we automatically profile over 2,000 different applications. So as soon as you put the box in the remote office, turn it on, it's going to detect, a Facebook post and put that as lower priority than a Zoom call, or then your SAP traffic, or then your CRM traffic. We know what is your important business traffic. We know what is not your important business traffic. We know what to prioritize, and automatically out of the box configure that, and solve those problems, and then also being able to control this, configure this, manage this centrally, provide a managed service through what PT&T can do. Cost savings, right? Cost savings. better visibility, better management of your traffic, better understanding of what's happening in your network. So yeah, those are some ways that we've helped customers with SD-WAN saving money.
Yep. Thank you very much, Anthony. And to our clients here in the call, we'd like to discuss with you, with our account managers, the different use cases of VMware. And as Anthony said earlier, we'd like to know you, get to know your businesses so that we can discuss your own priorities at this time. Is it cost? Is it optimization? Is it future proofing your network? So we'd like to invite you to reach out to us. We will be reaching out to you next week. But ultimately, we'd like to have that conversation with you and discuss, how we can help you both from PT&T and VMware side. So thanks, Anthony. So Philip, as I mentioned earlier, I'd like to ask about, keeping things simple. I know you're a hands-on guy too. I'm sure some people in the audience, are really asking, how will this make my life easier? So do you wanna maybe
Ah,
cite some examples also?
yeah, thanks for that, Raya. SD1 makes people in the network world simplify its things when it comes to configuration, management, troubleshooting, and supporting. Basically, as what Anthony mentioned earlier, that in order to provision a branch, you just need to just simply send the box out of your office going to a certain specific branch, and then let them activate by people there on the remote branch. And then the orchestrator will simply add or activate that specific location. Okay, so the complexity of doing the CLI, especially um, doing the specific configuration like the interface, routing and switching, firewalls, QoS, and everything will be automated using the orchestrator, a single pane of glass that we normally use to configure our SD branches or SD1 branches. So no more error that we normally encounter when doing the CLI. So CLI is no longer be the key here to make this branches up and working or up and running. So it simplifies things. No more complexities. No more um, additional tasks to be given to your network engineers. You just need one, most probably a network engineer from the head office or from the data center, and then the remote will just be your normal staff. So no more technical, additional technical people that will configure or redeploy to those remote areas.
Thank you. Thanks again to our panelists, LMA, Anthony, all the way from Singapore, and Philip. Just to round up, maybe my favorite benefits or advantages, it's really simplified, keeping things simple. We know our IT managers are, monitoring so many things already. Of course, the cost savings, which will help you. And also help you, to present to higher management. And of course, optimize bandwidth and all the other points we discussed earlier. So I'd like to close off this segment and let's go now to a poll. Okay, can we see it on the screen? Okay, just click on your answer in the dialog box flashed on your screens. I'll just look. Okay, so it's now we can see the priorities. It's really optimized bandwidth. Okay, we see some results coming in. I'm just looking at my poll here on my side, on my right side. Okay, so based on our audience today, is really continuous network uptime is leading. Okay, maybe we have a lot of audience here in infrastructure, and of course continuous network uptime also results to increased sales and productivity. And then we also have centralized, simple, complete network visibility. So all the things that Philip mentioned earlier. And of course, optimized bandwidth usage. All right. Now, I'd like also to invite everyone to answer the survey flashed on your screens and get the chance to be one of the lucky winners of 5,000 pesos GC from one of our favorite stores, Digital Walker. Okay. As a recap, we've already gone over the network challenges that businesses face today, the difference of SD-WAN versus other technologies, and the benefits of the virtual network architecture. But this time, our speaker from VMware, Anthony, will share some SD-WAN use cases.
Thanks, Rhea. Okay, let me pull up my
Anthony.
slides. Okay, have you got control over my slides, Rhea? Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, so let me go to the next slide and let me talk about businesses that we're working with. Across Asia Pacific, across the world, right? It's really interesting times because they're all coming to us with different challenges, and depending on which line of business they're in, of course. But the top of mind is the digitization of their branch offices. We're constantly hearing over and over again, I'm moving to the cloud. What can I do about it, right? My employees are working from home. They're working from all these remote places. How do I connect them? How do I secure them? How do I make sure that my network is available and that they're not getting hacked? And all these challenges about remote work that are on top of the CIO's mind and the network infrastructure team's mind. And legacy networks, when you work with an AWS or a Google or Microsoft, they're really brilliant at creating an environment for you to run your applications on, but they're not helping you connect, right? Connect into their environments. And you could be running applications all over the world, but how do we solve these problems of security and connectivity? And then, of course, the cost that goes along with that, the performance of applications, how do I re-architect, redesign my network? So I'm just going to talk to you quickly about some of the customers like right now today that we're working with across Asia Pacific to make this more relevant for you guys on this call. Just over the last couple of months, we're working with all these type of customers, right? We're working with a pizza company, famous pizza company in Australia, deploying to many remote offices across Australia. We're working with a pharmacy company in Singapore, hundreds of sites across Singapore. What they wanted to do was they wanted cost savings, so their WAN was coming up for renewal. They wanted a completely light architecture, remove all the devices at their retail shops. They wanted to make use of their backup link, which was sitting there doing nothing. So they wanted to use 3G, 4G, and hopefully 5G now in Singapore simultaneously as they're using their internet links. So they got dual links, dynamic multipath optimization. DMPO is our magic sauce that does very sophisticated monitoring of multiple links at the same time. Blackouts, brownouts, any packet drops will be able to simultaneously use both links at the same time. We're working with up to 8,000 stores over the last 12 months. We've deployed with a supermarket in Indonesia, 8,000 in less than 12 months. And we've got even bigger success stories than that in the US as well, where we've rolled out within 3 months up to 4,000 stores for a company over there. We're working with a jewelry company in China. Again, thousands of sites. That one is a new deal. 7-Eleven type of store in Japan. We're working again, massive amount of sites, quick deployment. They're looking at for that. Insurance company across APJ, where the team wants to manage it themselves, and government agency in Australia, bank in Malaysia as well. So these are just the companies that we're working with now. So I'm going to give you three different scenarios of the way that we've worked with these companies and before I move on with the slides. So one of them, I'll talk about the retail shop. Well, actually, both retail companies. So one's a pharmacy in Singapore, and one's that supermarket in Indonesia. Right? They wanted to bring up their sites really quickly. Priority number one. They didn't want to worry about multiple devices at their remote offices. They wanted security, and they wanted better WAN performance, but they wanted cost savings, right? So they wanted to reduce dedicated bandwidth, and they wanted to use 3G wireless cellular along with broadband services, internet links. Cloud was a big thing for them as well. So we helped deploy really quickly. We helped secure their traffic. We helped cost savings, and we helped them move it really, really quickly. So that was one scenario, and this was using our cloud service. So Philip mentioned we run the orchestrator in the cloud. That's the controller. That's how we're able to deploy sites really quickly. The cloud will manage the remote devices, monitor them, configure them, pre-configure them, or configure them on the fly. As soon as you turn them on, they'll call back home and they'll configure themselves. So this is what retailers that they don't want to worry about IT. They don't have CCIEs and very sophisticated IT teams. IT light, right? That's what they want. They want it completely managed, monitored by their service provider. They want it all running in the cloud, and that's what they love. So that's one success story that we were able to bring, that we're bringing today to companies. One is the next case study that I'm going to talk about is the polar opposite. This is the bank and the insurance company and the financial services, where they come to us and they say, we don't want to use the cloud. We want data secure. I want a dedicated on-prem service that's just for me, right? I don't want to share anything with anybody. I want you to build something dedicated. I want it to be secure. I want it to optimize my traffic. I don't mind paying a little bit more, but security is top of mind, right? So having a dedicated architecture that we can bring that same sophisticated brains and control of the orchestrator that runs in the cloud, we can have this dedicated for a customer, either on-site, on-prem for their IT team to manage, or we can run it in the service provider's network, and the service provider can manage it for you as well, right? So we're doing this with a bank in Malaysia. We're doing this with a bank in Indonesia as well. Dedicated services, dedicated on-prem deployment, safe, secure, optimized, and they're getting all the benefits, but they're managing it, maintaining it, monitoring it, dedicated for them. And the third case study that I'm going to talk about is a hybrid, where they have their own remote offices, dispersed customers, dispersed employees. They've got data center for private traffic, MPLS connectivity into their data center, but then they've got SaaS and cloud as well. So how can we help them re-architect their data, run and optimize the data in the cloud? So the orchestrator it can run in the cloud, it can run in the service provider network, or it can be dedicated to the customer. We give them those three options. And in all of those three scenarios, they can choose that which topology they want. The case study that I'm going to talk to you about is the insurance company across APJ. It's a global customer. So I'm working on the APJ part. My colleague is working on the Europe part, and my colleague in the US is working on the US part. But they've got an IT team. They want it running in the cloud, but they want it, they want to monitor, manage things themselves. So that's the third case study where we're able to work with the customers, gather their requirements, and build the right technology for them. So this slide talks about our options, right? So because SD-WAN sits on top of the network, it doesn't matter whether it's 5G, broadband, direct internet, MPLS, dedicated fiber. We'll sit on top, we'll manage, we'll secure the traffic regardless of where it's going. And this is the beauty of SD-WAN sitting in an overlay network. DMPO, dynamic multipath optimization, is the magic that is continuously monitoring the traffic, whether it's a single link, multiple links. Multiple links are better because if we see a problem on the primary link, we'll automatically swap the traffic to the backup link, to the cell link, which is what we did in the retailer's case. was using cellular. But by continuously monitoring it and real-time swapping the traffic, this is the way we're able to optimize and with that hands-free type of real-time optimization that SD-WAN is able to provide. Continuous link monitoring, dynamic per packet steering, on-demand remediation. So solving problems as they occur, helping you get visibility into problems and make changes before they occur as well. Next slide, please. So these are the use cases that if you're a company and you're saying, hey, actually we're looking at IT and WAN simplification, or we're looking at better application performance and assurance on top of that, or we're thinking of moving to the cloud in the Philippines. I want to embrace and innovate and see what moving to the cloud can do for me. Do I have to re-architect my network to do that? We can help you make decisions that will solve those problems for you. Or edge transformation, right? If you want to reduce the complexity of your remote offices, bring up stores really quickly, help optimize your remote users, work from anywhere type of situations. That's what we can do with SD-WAN as well. We can look at security, optimization, management, monitoring, visibility as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is exciting because this just came out literally 2 weeks ago. So you guys are, brand new seeing this latest Gartner Magic Quadrant. For 4 years in a row, VMware VeloCloud has been in the top right-hand leaders quadrant for this technology. SASE was one of the criteria that they looked at for this most recent Gartner's Magic Quadrant. We're excited because it's getting much more busy in these Gartner Magic Quadrants, because security companies are coming and saying, hey, we do SD-WAN as well. Networking companies are coming and saying, hey, we do SD-WAN. But VeloCloud, VMware, we've been doing SD-WAN as we were created. That's what we were built to do, is SD-WAN. So leading the market in this space, building better secure networks, better optimized networks, better visibility. SASE is going to be the next big thing. So leading the market in that, it's really exciting to bring these solutions. And don't get confused by the clutter. Being able to work with the market leader in this space. That's what you can do with PT&T and the VMware partnership. So I tried to be concise, but I know I ran through that pretty quickly. But please let me know any questions. But hopefully I was able to convey some use cases that can appeal to you, scenarios that you may be going through or contemplating, and ways that we can help you move forward in your IT decisions, networking decisions, cloud journey, digitization, or work from anywhere, right? These are really areas that we want to help you solve problems around. Rhea, I hope that was okay.
All right. Yes. Thank you for sharing with us those industries, use cases, and also hot off the press information. Of course, PT&T is proud to partner with the leader in SD-WAN, VMware. All right. If there's one takeaway, we should partner with a company that's built to do SD-WAN. All right. Thank you very much, Anthony. And now we move on to the poll. I think this is our fourth poll question. And let's see again. We'd like to know more about our audiences today. We'd like to know more about your industry. So we have a lot from, others. Okay. I'm curious to know what industries, that's a big, a big group with others, but hello also to our clients from the banking and retail sector.
We needed a longer list here, Raya.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'd like to know what those others are. All right. Thank you. Now let's move on to our next segment. From what we've learned so far, SD-WAN offers a plethora of other advantages like increased performance and visibility and better cloud usage. But there are plenty of SD-WANs available in the market today, and this is a very, very important question. How can we choose the right one for our businesses? What are the factors that we should consider? Miss May?
Yeah, thank you, Raya. Of course, in terms of choosing the right partner, you have to look at different areas, right? Number one, in PT&T, what we usually do is we work closely with the client, right? Understanding your business is very important to us for us to be able to help you build the business case, whether it's doing a TCO analysis, whether it's understanding what your challenges are. Because let's face it, every customer has different pains, right? Every industry has different requirements, and you have different applications, whether it's hybrid, on-premise and on-cloud, or all on-premise or all on-cloud. So all of these things we need to understand. And that's what we do. Understanding your requirements, understanding your needs, so that we will be able to design better the right solution for you. I think that's one of the things that we at PT&T is very proud of. Raya, thank you.
Agree. Totally agree, Miss May. And of course, Philip, you want to add anything to that?
Sure, thank you. For a company to choose an SD1 service provider, I would like to give them some tips on how they are going to choose the right one for them. First, they should identify first their pain points or problems, or what are they are encountering right now, especially if they are having outage for their one. Are they having a good support? So they need to identify first the problem, and then how are they going to manage their new one, which is SD1? Would they like to do it on prem, on cloud? That they wanted to do it by their own, what we call DIY, or they wanted to do it by a certain experienced service provider, like managed service provider um, companies like us, PT&T. We normally do that kind of business model. And third, the right features that they wanted to activate or buy, or they need on a certain SD1 before they going to decide. And lastly, of course, before they check all of their problems, in choosing the best partner, must have at least a better support, a better experience with other, let's say, business models that can be on top of what we have offering, or what we are offering. So, for example, we're not just simply offering the SD1, but of course, we also offer connectivity, which is broadband, both dedicated and shared bandwidth. So, with that, at least they can have some pointers or criterias before they choose a better partner. And of course, finally, they need also to check the credibility of the provider or the products. For example, SD1, which is on top of Magic Quadrant leader for several years from now. So from there, you can easily choose which product will fit your requirements with regards to one connectivity.
Agree as well, Philip. So, from Miss May and Philip, we really want to understand you, our clients, and we want to go on a dialogue with you where you are now in your journey. And of course, I'll just leave the last slot to Anthony, to wrap up. How do we choose? What do we look for? Just put a bang.
Yeah. No, Ella and Philip made some great points, right? And the really important thing is we don't want to go to our customers and say, this is the way you need to do SD-WAN, right? It's not a one size fits all, you must deploy it this way type of solution. As Ella mentioned, we want to, we want to build a partnership with you, the customer. We want to understand your business. We know Bank A might not be the same as Bank B. There's different concepts that we need to look at. There's which cloud provider are you working with? Is it a multi-cloud deployment? What do your how many remote offices do you have? How are your employees working with you today? So it's gathering the right requirements, understanding your business, understanding your application profile, understanding the challenges, as Philip mentioned. We want to look at your pain points on the network, on the application side, on the cost side, right? How much money are you spending today? How can we help you save money but keep the performance relatively the same, keep the security same or better? Better ways of architecting or re-architecting your environment by understanding more about you, your business, your profile, your company, how are you innovating, how are you looking at providing better services for your customers, how are you working today, what's not working today, and putting all this together for the right solution, for you. I mentioned all the different ways that we work with current customers. PT&T being a great partner, that's the kind of approach that they're going to bring to you, the customers in the Philippines, is a partnership, right? Really understanding what your requirements are, what your business is, and building the right solution for you around SD-WAN. So I think that's a really important approach that we want to bring.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Anthony. And now we move on to the last part of our segment today. This will be a Q&A portion. Now, you don't all have to answer. Maybe the the person who wants to speak up first can answer for the group. Now, I just have to move to my screen to see the questions as well. All right, from Mr. Kenneth Texon. When does a company implement security to the network, or why will they invest in securing their data, especially to the SMEs whose budget is very low?
This is a great question. This is a great question. So I can take it first, and then I'll give it to Ella and Philip. So security is such a big headache, right? I mean, every day we're hearing about hacks, and every day I'm getting calls on my mobile phone of people trying to steal my information. So when it comes to the network, right, how do we protect our users if they're working from home? This is an even bigger problem that I'm worried about today. Is they're working. They've got maybe a work laptop that they're connecting to their home network that is even more in the cloud that I need to secure. I need to worry about, because is that are they going to click on an email they're not supposed to? Is something going to get installed on their laptop that's going to transmit over the network into other employees, or into the data center, even worse, onto my servers? And I have to worry about firewalls and IDS, IPS, and cloud-based and CASB, and all these multiple tiers of security, and I don't have the budget. What can I do to protect that? And this is exactly why Gartner, the leaders in analyzing technology, came up with this SASE story. And companies were like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I'm putting a device at the edge of my network, why can't I just do everything? Why can't they make it easy for me to make decisions around security, around network connectivity, around visibility, around management? So I really think that Gartner got it right when they came up with this SASE story. And we want to put one device, and we want to give the customers options on, do you want to do security at that edge, or are you happy building your own security story? Do you want to do SD-WAN at that edge, or do you want to just do security? Do you want it cloud-based, or do you want it on-prem? So, this SASE story, I think, really helps Kenneth solve those problems, because it's a option that brings endpoint security, VPN solution, secure access is part of that as well. Cloud-based security, so in the cloud, we're able to do IDS, IPS solutions. We're able to do URL filtering. We're able to do sandboxing. All these things that you would have so much trouble to build yourselves, and it's subscription based. So do I want to do it for 100 users, or do I want to do it for 10 users, or do I want to do it for 1,000 users? It's up to you how you want to offer security in your organization. Who do you want to apply it to? What kind of solutions do you want to apply it to? Do I just want VPN and secure access? Do I want cloud security? Do I want firewall? Do I want IDS, IPS? So turning on the solutions as and when you want it is part of this solution that's wrapped around SD-WAN, Kenneth. So I think that's a great question, and this is a problem that we can solve with the SASE story that we're building and able to offer today.
All right, thank you very much, Anthony. The next question is from Marinelle, Miss Marinelle Sige. With SD1, can changes be made during business hours without disrupting network operations?
Here, I'll take that.
One,
Um,
yeah, okay. Thanks, Philip.
okay. With SD1, you have the full picture of what are you going to change to make changes. That's what we call the Velo Cloud Orchestrator. So you can pick which branch are you going to have a change. Technically, it will not affect the whole branch because unless you are doing an upgrade of firmware for all of the edges or even the orchestrator, but it will not disrupt anything if it is just one branch. Okay, so there's nothing to worry about maintenance window that will impact the whole connectivity of your network infrastructure, especially one connectivity. So you can do segmentation just one branch at a time if you wanted to have a changes specific to that location, but it will not impact the whole network. So that's the beauty of having a single pane of glass wherein you can pick which branch can be upgraded or do some maintenance window or activities.
All right, thank you, Philip.
Yeah.
Our
I think,
next
Raya, I
question
just wanted
is
to
okay,
add to that. Sorry, Raya. So I think the
no problem.
important thing, no, to remember is always to because all of these changes can be scheduled, right? And these are not like something that needs to be done now, no. So planning is very important. So you have to understand your operations. If you're 24/7, then you have to look at a window where there is a slack, no, meaning it's not peak of the operations where we can actually do the activity. I think that's one important thing. I also wanted to add to the answer to the question earlier in terms of the SMEs, right? So again, at the end of the day, it's looking at the cost and benefit analysis of what this technology can do to your business. Security is very important, especially nowadays where we have the Data Privacy Act, right? Wherein SMEs also need to look at what are the types of data that I'm transmitting over the network. Now, if it is pertaining to customer data, even personal data, those are accounted by the data privacy law. So you need to look at, what are your vulnerabilities as far as security is concerned. And to Anthony's point earlier, SD1 may not be the solution. It may actually be something to do with just simple firewall, etc. And again, all of these things can be addressed as long as we know and we understand what are the requirements of the business, right? So, again, security is a very touching issue nowadays, especially like what Anthony mentioned, left and right. You're getting all of these hackers, trying to get your personal information, trying to penetrate your network and trying to get the data that they want. So that's something that we need to all be aware of. So again, at the end of the day, it's cost benefit analysis. What's the risk to your business if you don't secure your data, and what are the repercussions behind it? So just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you, May, for adding those. And again, we have another question from Mr. Kenneth Texon. All right. Do we need high bandwidth resources in order for a company to use SD-WAN?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another great question.
Oh, yeah.
So
Go ahead,
I'll let you
Anthony.
take.
No,
Just going
actually,
to take.
the requirement per branch depends on the usage, right? So, again, that's one thing that we do for some of our clients. We actually help them determine what type of bandwidth and what type of connectivity do you actually need for specific requirements. So, um, again, we mentioned you can actually use even just LTE. You just put a SIM card on that SD-WAN appliance, and your branch can already function. So it doesn't require high bandwidth. That's a misnomer. You can actually use any type of bandwidth, any type of connectivity that you need, regardless of the bandwidth size.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's exactly right, Ella. And technically, we're separating the control plane from the data plane. So the control is going through into the orchestrator to monitor and manage the network, and then the data, doesn't need to go anywhere. It just goes site to site or site to cloud or site to data center. So we don't get involved with that at all, Kenneth. So by separating control and data plane, it's minimal control traffic that the VCO, the orchestrator, is using to manage and monitor the boxes. So as Ella mentioned, it's very minimal bandwidth required, and we work with the smallest bandwidths all the way up to the multi gig.
All right. Thank you. We actually have a lot of questions on bandwidth today. Our fourth question. All right. Is SD1 more proactive or reactive?
All right. I'll take that, Raya. So thanks, Mark, for having this question. Actually, SD1 is more on proactive because there's an integrated analytics and monitoring on the orchestrator, so you can see what are the links having a problem or having latency, jitter, and everything that normally contributes to the degradation of your network connectivity. So basically, you can also have what we call uh, monitoring tools that is embedded. So uh, you can already detect what's going on your network. So from there, at least you can monitor and already have a look on what's happening. So no need for like somebody from your service provider calling you that the link is down and you need to fail over. So the network will also automatically fail over to your backup. So it's better to have at least multiple links so that you can have a resiliency and redundancy on your network, especially on data center and on the branch, which are having a more users there.
Yep. Thanks, Philip. That's good to know. All right. I'll move on to the last question. What does what does migration to SD1 look like? All right. It's a good question from Mr. Salvador Manuel.
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. So I can take this first. Um, it's really simple, and actually, this is where we need to understand what your environment looks like and how we're solving this problem and how we're architecting the solution for you. But it's as simple as deploying an edge device at your remote offices, and this edge device could replace your current CPE. So you could plug your broadband link directly into this edge device, sits at the edge of your network, and then it will create secure tunnels out onto the WAN. It will intercept all your LAN traffic, and as it's going out to the WAN, it will optimize it, provide you visibility and security as it hits the edge of your WAN network, and then it sits in your cloud or in your data center, either as a virtual appliance or as a physical cluster in your data center, depending on how much traffic is going into the data center side. And it sits, as I've mentioned, right? It sits on top of your network. So building tunnels over the WAN to connect your sites and your data center and your cloud network, and then monitoring that via the orchestrator, managing that through the orchestrator. So really simple deployment. That's the way we're able to bring sites up very quickly. It sits at the edge of your network. Zero touch provisioning, so you don't need to configure anything. It's a callback to the orchestrator to deploy, and plug and play type of architecture that we want to bring here.
All right. Can I also
All
add
right.
to Anthony's
Yeah, sure,
answer?
Philip.
Yeah, migrating is not simply one time, big time, meaning you are replacing all of your branch routers up to your data center. You can also start with a small one, and then you can have your pilot locations, especially your non critical, and then start from there, and then basically you can integrate that on your existing, even though legacy. We can simply redistribute routing to your existing network, so it's not the whole thing that you will be replacing everything on your network. You can start small and then see if that's gonna work on your environment, and if does work, and then that's the time you can migrate all of your sites slowly, not the whole thing, not the big time, something like that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Philip.
Able, of course, we'll be able to guide our clients in their migration plan as well. All right. We have a lot of questions coming in. We're down to our last two. We have something from Mr. Mark Peñaverde. I read it first. Can we use multi-one in SD1? Also, are ports open in the HQ side? So, also ports, are they only open in the HQ side?
Oh, ports. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Philip.
Yeah, they can still use multi-one. The good thing with multi-one is you can have leverage wherein you can have multiple traffic steering, so that whenever one goes down, that will still your network will still work. And then with regards to all ports, that depends on what type of traffic are you getting in into your network. So you can block that port, which is not necessary that may enter your network, because SD1 has its own firewall that can filter ports, applications, and there's, if you want to have more granular security, then we can have integrated securities like Zscaler, Fortinet, and other security solutions. We will redirect traffic if you want more granular and filtered, or even up to the more advanced security features that you may want.
Yeah, yeah. And let me just add quickly as well that it can be multi-provider, multi-WAN links as well. So because it's an overlay technology, you might have MPLS links with one provider, broadband links with another provider, and LTE with another provider, a third provider, right? Because the SD-WAN box sits at the edge of your network and is an overlay solution, it doesn't matter, which vendor or which provider you're working with. PT&T would manage an overlay SD-WAN service for you, configure the solution for you, monitor, give you monthly reports on, maybe your MPLS is not working as well as it's supposed to be, or maybe it's full of traffic and you need to upgrade the bandwidth. So it's an overlay technology completely, and built and monitored and managed by PT&T and in the Philippines in this case. So being an overlay technology, it's multi-WAN, multi-vendor, and we're able to build all of that on top of your current network.
All right. Thank you, Philip and Anthony. And for our last question for this, for today, actually, for the rest of the webinar, from Mr. Kenneth Exon again, how does SD1 differ from VPN?
This is a nice, easy one. Ella, why don't you go first?
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Actually, VPN can sit on top of the SD-WAN. So if you look at your requirements now, as far as network is concerned, there are requirements where your users need access to the internet, right? And there are certain transactions where you need a secure network that's point to point, for example, and where a VPN connection makes sense, right? So what SD-WAN does, as Philip mentioned earlier, you can actually, it's an overlay on your network. It will manage any type of connection that you want. You know, you can, and if you've seen an SD-WAN diagram, it looks like a spider web, right? So there are certain also redundancies that you need to look at, whether it's required by the business. So VPNs basically part of your overall SD-WAN architecture. Because at the end of the day, any business does not just require VPN, it requires several. So managing several types of connectivity that's required by the business is something that is simplified and being managed by SD-WAN, right? So Anthony or Philip, you might want to add to that.
Yeah, Philip, you go ahead, and then I can have the last word.
Sure. Okay. So actually, SD1 is just managing those VPNs. SD1 is also a VPN. It runs on VPN. The overlay is what we call virtual private network, wherein we provision that automatically by orchestration and by automation, right? Unlike the legacy VPN, normally what we call the IPsec, basically it's a point to point from one firewall to another. So when it comes to SD1, VPN is just a native overlay or virtual network connectivity, but we manage multiple or a lot of connections are built on top of VPN as well. What we have like cloud VPN, and then uh, cloud to a legacy network, and then a legacy network to cloud. Those are VPN built on top of SD1. So actually, SD1 is just a term or platform that we use for, or a newer platform, a newer technology. But again, the basics of that are still, we normally use IPsec level of VPN, which is AES 256. So your question is, I think VPN still working on the SD1.
Yeah, and I'll just add quickly that VPN is ancient, right? Ancient technology. It's something that people have been doing for years and years and years, and there's no sophistication around it usually, right? It's build a secure tunnel, send traffic, right? Whereas SD-WAN has really innovated on top of this idea of how do we build a secure network. I've got multiple types of traffic going across it. I'm going to, who knows where the traffic is going to go? Is it cloud? Is it data center? What if there's packet drops? What if there's, the link goes down? I don't have visibility into a VPN traffic because it's all IPsec and it's secure and it's encrypted. So I'm just building a VPN tunnel and I'm just praying that things are going to work, right, in traditional VPNs. So to answer your question, Kenneth, it's much more sophisticated VPN that SD-WAN is. There's a lot of innovation that we've built into SD-WAN. DMPO is one, multipath steering is another, visibility and managing your traffic, prioritizing your traffic, quality of service, forward error correction. All this magic stuff is happening on those IPsec links that you completely don't have to worry about because it's all managed, controlled, monitored on this orchestrator. That if you want, you don't even have to worry about that. You can say, "Hey, PT&T, you build the profiles with me. You manage it, you monitor it, you tell me if anything goes wrong," right? Or if you really wanted to understand exactly what's going on, you would get access to the orchestrator, build your own profiles, understand what you're prioritizing, how you're prioritizing it, how you're building your secure tunnels, how you're encrypting the traffic. All of this is available in SD-WAN, along with the stateful firewall, along with all the funky stuff that we're bringing in SD-WAN. So it definitely could replace your VPNs and do plus 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 all the cool stuff that we've spoken about.
All right,
Yeah.
that's a nice ending, from ancient to funky, to future proofing, your network with PT&T and VMware. This is the last question that we'll answer this afternoon. The next part, we will just ask for, closing and final words from our panelists. And of course, if you haven't answered the survey yet, there's still time while our panelists are wrapping up, and then we'll have the raffle after, and then you'll have your TGIF or your happy weekend. All right, we want to thank everyone who submitted their questions. For the other questions that we cannot answer live, we will be reaching out to you to address them, and of course to discuss your objectives and how both PT&T and VMware can help you. All right. Let me start off with Miss Ella May, and then Philip, and then we'll leave the closing to Anthony.
Thank you, Raya. And of course, thank you everyone for attending our webinar today. And I hope we were able to share with you a very important topic, no, for in terms of being able to manage your network and securing your data and making it more efficient and reliable. And we hope that we can work with you in the future. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any requirements for these type of solutions and of course connectivity as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for attending this webinar. It's all about VeloCloud SD-WAN. I hope that we were able to answer all your questions. If you still have questions, you can just call us or email us or reach us through our media or our let's say email, or you can just call us, and then we will just give you some of the solutions that you might need, or if you have questions, just call us. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending this webinar. I really appreciate your time, and your questions were great. Thank you PT&T for inviting me to speak. I'm missing the Philippines, so I'm hoping to, as soon as I can get over there, I'm gonna get over there and have some nice Agoda chicken, and I'm really excited to bring this partnership with PT&T to the Philippines. I think it's a really great time for us to be talking about your journey, customer's journey, what pain points you guys have, build a partnership together with you through PT&T, and hopefully solve your problems as well. So it was great speaking to you guys today, and I really appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing you in the Philippines really soon.
So thank you to all our speakers today. And we also are looking forward to seeing you here, Anthony, and of course, to bringing you to our clients here in the Philippines. All right, it's TGIF. Can the team now bring out the wheel of names if you've answered the survey? Let's do it. All right. Our first winner is Mr. Jose San Agustin. Congratulations, Mr. San Agustin. 5,000 worth of digital walker GC. I believe the GC is valid for a year. But please do check in your nearest digital walker store. All right, let's spin the wheel. This is the second winner. Mr. Jerim, is that Jerim or Jerome? Mr. Jerim Saez. All right, congratulations to our first two winners, and our last winner. If you're here, congratulations. Our last winner. Wow, Mr. Kenneth Texon. All right, congratulations, Mr. Texon. And of course, from PT&T and from all our partners in VMware, we have partners supporting us from Singapore and the region. We have partners supporting us all the way from headquarters. And of course, PT&T, with the presence of our GM, our our GM for IT Services, Miss Elami Ortega. We would like to thank you very much for spending your Friday afternoon with us. And we'd like to see more of you in our future events. And of course, to reach out to you, to talk to you about your business, your objectives, and how both PT&T and VMware can help you. Thank you very much and happy weekend.
One, go.
Of course, we'd like to hear your feedback on what you liked about the webinar, topics that you'd like uh, to discuss in the future webinars. So just look at the screen, process the QR code. Thank you very much. And we'd also like to thank our tech team here in the office right now, the VMware team in Singapore, and of course, our GM is Elami Ortega and Mr. Philip Kagunan, and Anthony, of course. Thank you and happy Friday.